Hello, I see Katrina's going to miss the first part of the show. She stopped in to say that she has an appointment during the first part. Hey, Diana.
Hi, Diana. Good to see you.
Hey,
Hi.
Cuz. And of course, our guest today is Quail University, Linda Easton Waller. And you know how it goes? There's one thing that was very important here is we do pay attention to the chat room.
Okay.
And if I pop a question up, if I pop something up there, it's usually to say something to you so that somebody's asking you.
Okay.
Otherwise, if I leave it up there like I did this right now, but if I just flirt through it like this, that's just them saying hello. It's just something.
Yeah. Hi, PJ. Good to see you.
Hey, PJ. Okay, Linda.
All right. Well, thank you, Verna, for having me on tonight. I'm really excited to spend time with my peeps in the Quail community. I've kind of been heads down working on some projects for the last little while, so I've been a little quiet on social media. Um, But tonight I want to share with you some things that are really making me excited. I've got a few things to share with you about some feed tests that I'm doing, a little bit about marketing, and some things about business management for those of you who are doing quail for profit. So I'm also a really visual learner. And so I made a few slides. I can't do one of these without making some slides to talk to you and share with you those things that are making me excited. And those can be springboards for conversations that we can have tonight. So it's a very short presentation. So Verna, do you want to go ahead and share my slides? Okay, so by way of introduction, if there's anybody here who doesn't know me, my name is Linda. I live in Sacramento, California. I've got a 2.5-acre farm, and I primarily do quail and some chickens, and I'll go more into that in a minute. But that's through Gully Rumpus Farm, and I've also been privileged to work with Zach from My Shire Farm and Jasmine from Time and Timber Homestead on creating Quail University. And Verna's going to share a link for those of you who are new to quail keeping. The Quail 101 course at Quail University is a great way to just dive in and get all the information that you need in one place about raising quail, from hatching to brooding, to feed and butchering, the whole 9 yards. And it's got a spreadsheet there where you can plan for your family how many quail you need to provide the eggs you want and the meat that you want if you're doing quail for self-sufficiency. So check out that link from Verna. And then I'm also involved with another partnership called Hatching at Home, and I'll be talking about that a little bit later. So my background is in marketing, and I've been doing quail for about 3.5 years now, and just love the community. So excited to see you here, Ed. I see Aaron here and PJ and all of the people that have really influenced me in how I raise quail. I've learned so much from this community, and it's exciting to me to have the opportunity to give back a little bit here tonight. So I'm going to share a few things with you. Just to tell you about my quail aviary, that's it on the left. It's a 40 by 8 foot aviary. Right now I've got about 140 birds in there. All celadons. I've got another aviary that's built that's a little smaller, that's going to be for jumbos. And we just ordered some from My Shire, and we're getting started with those this year. I also breed American white breast chickens. They're a new dual purpose bird, newish, from France. And so the poultry that I do is really designed for homesteaders, for people who are looking to become more self-sufficient. Whether they're in the city or in the country and have more room, can do chickens. So tonight, my goal is to share these things with you that are exciting to me right now so we can spark a discussion and learn from each other. So I'm going to hit 3 topics: feed, marketing, and for those of you who are doing Quail for Profit, the marketing and some business management things that have been really helpful to me that I want to share with you. All right, so let's dive into feed. I'm doing 2 feed tests this year, and I'm going to tell you about these because these are something that if you're interested in replicating these tests, and you want to be involved in this, then I invite you to join me on this adventure of learning a little bit more about quail nutrition. From the people who are raising quail, not necessarily from academics, but from people who are raising quail day in and day out. So I saw a presentation. There were 2 presentations on Koternik's Corner by Jeff Maddox, who is a poultry nutrition expert from Fertrell. And he introduced me to some new ideas about quail nutrition. One of them was that he said, if you put granite grit in the feed, not as a free choice, but in your feed, you can save 8 to 10% on feed costs. So I was like, wow, that's really interesting. I'm going to start doing that. So in September and October, I hatched out a bunch of quail chicks and I put grit in their feed. And I was kind of surprised that it was noticeable. 8 to 10% doesn't seem like that much to me. And I have a hunch that I was saving more than that in feed costs. So what I'm doing now is I've got these 2 brooders you see on the right. They've each got 15 quail in them. They're my jumbos from my shire, and they're just a few days old. And I've got the same feeder in both of them, same exact setup. And I've measured out 10 pounds of feed for each of them. And to one of those buckets, I'm adding 2 ounces of granite grit. And then I'm going to see who runs out of food first and weigh the difference and see how much adding grit is saving in my feed costs. So this is probably an experiment that I'm going to do again and again, just because, sometimes chicks die, or sometimes there's, more, you have a spill or something like that. So over time this year, or in 2024, in a few days, I'll be doing this experiment and sharing the results with you guys. So if you want to do this as well, I would be really excited to know what results you get. This was another interesting thing that Jeff said. He said your quail need 7 to 8% fat in their feed. And I looked at all the feeds that were available to me, off-the-shelf feeds, and none of them had anywhere near that. So I took the feed that was my best match to what Jeff recommended. So in this, I don't know, can you guys see my cursor? Verna,
No,
can you see my move? No. Oh, darn it. Okay. So my Game Bird pellets are 20% protein. And if you go down, the fat content was 3% and the calcium's 2.5%. And I need those to kind of match what Jeff was recommending, 8%, up to 8%, and 3% calcium. So I needed to add 5% calcium and 5% fat and 0.5% calcium. SO says, are you also tracking the birds' weights? And Verna, can you read that for me? Because my slides are over.
Are you also tracking the birds' weights during this grit feed test as just opposed to the feed savings?
I'm not right now, but that is definitely something that I can do. Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. Okay, so in order to add 5% fats, I did some calculating. For 10 pounds of feed, it's a 1/2 pound of oil, which is 8 ounces, which works out to be a cup. Actually, oil's a little bit lighter than water, I discovered, so it's a little bit more than a cup, but I figured if I wanted to make it easy for myself, so if I make it a cup, then I'm in that 7 to 8% range. So I add 2 ounces of grit, I add an ounce of oyster shell for calcium, and then a cup of just regular cooking oil, which ends up not being that expensive. And I mix it in and feed it to the birds. I've been doing this for about 2.5 months now. And here's what I know. It's not hurting my birds. So I've processed, I think, 3 batches since then. And I'm looking at the insides and, everybody looks healthy. There's no noticeable difference. So I don't think that there's anything detrimental happening here. But there's a lot that I don't know that I want to look at this year. Like, how will additional fat affect the bird weight? So like you were thinking about, egg production, maybe even the egg weight or fertility. I really want to look at how adding that fat affects any of those. And if it's worth the gains, right? So again, if anybody else is interested in and has the ability to do a split test, I'd love to work with you on that. Okay, so enough about feed. We're going to go on to marketing for those of you who are doing Quail for profit. And one of the things that I wondered is, can I increase my egg sales, like eating egg sales, by taking EBT? So EBT is sometimes known as SNAP. It's and sometimes known as food stamps. It's a federal program, but every state has their own name for their program. Ours in California is called CalFresh. And anyway, you get a debit card that you can use towards, healthy foods. And so I talked to other farmers about this and said, like, how is it to apply? Are you in the process of applying? I talked to one guy and he said, yeah, it's taking me a long time. Another farmer said, yeah, I've heard that it's horrible, that like it takes maybe 6 months to get approved. So I was not feeling like maybe that was the direction I wanted to go, but I live in a low income neighborhood, and many times people come to my farm to buy things, mostly roosters. I have a rooster return program where people bring me their unwanted backyard roosters and I sell them live for food. It's mostly to families who grew up in other countries. They're immigrants and want to eat traditional chicken. The Cornish cross just doesn't taste the same to them. They want to eat halal. And so they buy roosters from me so that they can do that. So their dishes that they make taste like they did back home. But they all often ask me, like, so can I buy some eggs from you as well? And I have the eggs, but my price point is usually out of their range. And they ask if they can use their EBT, and I can't, right now I can't accept it. So the other day I found marketlink.org, and it was created by a group of farmers who wanted to make it easier for other farmers and people running farmers markets to apply for and get the equipment needed to accept EBT. So they have, if you go to their site, which is marketlink.org, and go to how the program works, you can scroll down to the SNAP equipment grant. And there's 2 parts to it. You do an eligibility assessment where you take a short survey. And then if they tell you that you're eligible, then you get a guide, the step-by-step guide. So I took the eligibility assessment. They said, yeah, you qualify. So here's the next step. Go and apply to on the USDA website, to accept a EBT, and here's your guide. So I did it, and I was kind of surprised. The whole application process from start to finish, and this included me digging out my tax files from last year, took about an hour and a half. So I'm like, okay, that's great. And then I didn't expect to hear back, for several months. And just about a week ago, I heard back. I think it took a week and a half, and I got approved. And it really was very easy. So I went back to marketlink.org and said, hey, I got approved. What's the next step for me? And they said, actually, because you're in California, California will provide you with the free EBT reader that's Bluetooth enabled, and you can go ahead and get it from them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But if you go through marketlink.org, they do have the free readers, and they do have a program where you don't have any processing fees for the first year. I think it's processing fees. There may be other fees related, but from what I understand, it's processing fees. I'm new to this, so there's some kind of fee that's waived. Then if you do $500 in EBT sales during your first year, the following year is also, you get free processing the following year. So makes it really easy. But my goal this year is to find out, like, okay, is EBT worth the time and effort? According to their website, the, what is it called again? Marketlink.org website. People who do accept EBT usually have 50% of their sales are run through EBT. So they suggest that it's something that could increase my sales. So I'm gonna find out this year. But I was excited to learn that the process was fairly painless. So if any of you want help with this, if you get stuck at any point during the way, I'm not an expert, but I've gone through the process recently, and I'm happy to help you out. Okay, so couple of business things. Quail University hosted the creator of the Flockstar app to give us a tour of the app earlier this year. And so I've been using the app since October, and I've been really good about just, as soon as I collect the eggs, I record the count. If I spend money, I take a picture of my receipt and record it on the app. Oh yeah, PJ's Family Farm said that's a great idea for a farmer's market. Yeah, some farmers markets have EBT matching programs where people who have EBT can go and double their money, and a lot of the markets here have that. But if your market doesn't have that, that's definitely a way to increase your customer base and allow more people to buy from you. And what I like about that, PJ, is that I'm not having to lower my prices for those EBT customers because they can use their EBT. Then it works out. All right, so back to the Flockstar app. Okay, so here's what I learned about my quail business. See that really tall line? That's October. I was getting a lot of eggs in October, and then our winter's farmers market, our wintertime farmers market, we were planning on using and selling eggs through, closed down. So all of a sudden I had all these eggs and I didn't have a place to sell them. So I sold some of my breeding stock to bank some money for feed for the winter because I wasn't sure what was going to happen. So the next month that you see there, the orange line, is November. So our production went down a little bit. And then in December, it went down a lot because my quail decided to do a hard molt, which they're just now coming out of, and I'm starting to get increased production. So in terms of production, I can see here that we really struggled in the last 3 months of the year. Okay. I'm having a hard time seeing. Hold on. Having a senior moment here. Okay. Okay. So it also gave me an idea of the sales and expenses, even though I didn't have like much of a market for selling the eggs. I was able to still bring in, if you look on the expenses side, on the right-hand side, a little bit more than I spent. So had a profit of $328, so like $100 a month. So I'm happy with that because we didn't lose any money. And then My slides got messed up, you guys. Oh, okay. You can still see it. The arrow is no longer pointing to it. This is interesting. But on this screen, you can see kind of in the middle, cost per egg. In the past, I have been just using feed costs to figure out my cost per egg. But with this app, I was able to take into account bedding, carton costs, stickers, everything. And so my cost per egg right now is 28 cents per egg. That's a lot higher than I wanted it to be. And my goal for this coming year is to bring that down a little bit. But it's nice to have the app to tell me my true cost per egg for the quail. And then one of the nice things about this is that you can export your data. And so when it came time for taxes, I can export to a spreadsheet, and everything is there, including a link to each of the receipts that I took a picture of. And it shows me like I'm missing some pictures of receipts here. So it made it easy for me to go back and go take pictures of those. So I have an electronic trail. So good news, I just learned this today, is that the creator of the Flockstar app is working on a new app called flockops.com. And if you want to be notified of the release, you can go to flockops.com and put in your email address. But this app is going to be like Flockstar on steroids. It's going to be much better for what we are trying to do. It's going to not only track egg production, but I gotta switch glasses again, you guys. But your sales and expenses. But oh man. Okay, that's a little bit better. But it's also going to help us track incubation, hatching, meat birds, breeding, health management, and feed and nutrition. So I'm really excited. That is coming out in the summer. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what's included in that. Okay. It's not every day that I say this, but there's a bank that has changed my life, and it's Relay Bank. Some of you may have heard me talking about this before, but it's really helped me with cash flow, and I want to kind of show you how right now. So traditionally, when you think, and this bank embraces the idea of the profit first model, which is this. Typically, when you figure out your profit, you take your revenue and you subtract your expenses, and what's left over is your profit, right? And so conventional wisdom says that you're not going to make a profit in your business for the first few years. That just doesn't happen because you're not having a lot of leftover, right? Profit first turns that around and helps us think about profit in a different way. In that we take our revenue, and you're going to take out your profit and take out some savings for taxes and for some other things. And then what's left is what you spend, what you have to spend. It's your bucket for your expenses. And that is how they look at it. And how does that translate to a bank? Okay, so here's an example. Say I need to go buy feed. And typically, this is what I would do. I would go say, okay, how much do I have in my bank account? How much can I spend, right? So today, I have $206 in my bank account, right? But I don't really have that much to spend because that's my overall bucket. I need to look at what I have available for feed. So with this bank, you can have all of your income go into one account. And then you can set up to 20 total accounts. So, and you can schedule automatic transfers. So once a week, whatever's in my income account gets spread out into these 5 buckets based on the percentage that I set. So for example, so the income account is there every Monday. Whatever's in that income account, 35% is going to go into my expense account. 40% is going to go into my feed account because I never want to run out of feed. That is important to me. And at tax time, when I'm filling out my Schedule F, it makes it really easy for me to just look in there to see how much I've spent on feed, because that account will tell me. 15% is going to savings. Another 5% is going to go to winter feed savings, because I'm learning that, you know, my chickens are freeloaders during the winter. I'm going to need to set aside feed money for feed for them, and then in the winter, my quail will molt as well in early winter here. So some money's going into there, and then the profit is 5%, and I only look at that every quarter. And if I need to take out money for my family, then that's the account I take it out of. And that money does not go back into the business. That's what it's for. It's my payment, and it doesn't go into the business. So now I can see, instead of $200, I have $82 to spend for feed. So I might just go get 3 bags of feed and be done. And I'm not overspending. And it helped a lot with cash flow.
Excuse me, Linda, what? Oh, okay, that's the bank right there?
Yeah. So if you want to sign up every Thursday, I think they have a tour that you can, like on Zoom, that you sign up for. It's relayfi.com. Relay is the platform. They are connected to Thread Bank, which is FDIC insured up to $250,000, I think, for business bank accounts. Your business bank account is free, and in that you get up to 20 of those bucket accounts. And for each of those accounts, you can have a virtual card or a real debit card sent to you for those. So there's a lot of fun things that you can do for it. You can sometimes, like, if you have a big expense coming up, like insurance, you can create a bucket for insurance and make sure a percentage of all your income is going into that bucket. You can also do fun things, like if your bucket gets filled up, and you say, okay, I don't want any more than $2,000 in my feed account. And if it goes over, then that can automatically spill over to my winter feed savings account. So some really fun things you can do with that. All right, and the last thing I want to talk about is I just got done doing a big end of the year review and looking at the enterprises that have been most beneficial to my business. And so I want to talk about hatching at home. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the concept of hatching rentals, I have a partner who does chickens, and I do quail. So we offer hatching rentals with an incubator and a brooder box, the feed, the water, the bedding, everything that they need for a 4-week experience. 3 of that is involved is hatching, is incubating, and then the rest of that is when the kids in the classroom or at home can enjoy the chicks. Then at the end of the rental, the family or teacher has an option of keeping the chicks, or they can give the chicks away to somebody who wants them, or they can bring the chicks back to the farm. So it's pretty cool that people are paying me. A lot of times teachers don't want to keep the chicks. They're paying me to hatch out chicks that I get to keep and put in my my breeding hutch or into or sell. So thank you, Ed. So this year I discovered that, one thing I want to say about hatching at home, it's really busy the first part of the year, but by the end of May, we're kind of done with that rush. And we do very little to promote it. It's mostly word of mouth. So the time that I spent on this enterprise was way smaller than anything else that I did, way less time. Anyway, this year, my profit, and that's not revenue, but profit from hatching at home, was 10 times higher than my profit from my farm. So, which is encouraging me to move into the direction of actually spending time advertising it a little bit. But for you, if this is something that you would like to consider doing to set up your own hatching rental program, Wendy and I my partner, we set up a class online that will give you all the tools and resources you need to get started faster. We show you how we do our customer support. how we put our kits together, the items that we recommend for the kits and things like that. So check that out if that's something that is appealing to you. It is it's fun. It's really fun. And it is more profitable than anything else I've ever been involved with in terms of a farm enterprise. Okay, so those are the fun things that have been happening here on the farm. And if you have questions about any of these that we don't get to address tonight, feel free to reach out to me through text or through either of my email addresses. I'm at thequailuniversity@gmail.com and linda@hatchingathome.com. Okay, Verna, I'm done. That's it.
Okay, now let's see if anybody has any questions for you.
Okay.
Give them a few minutes.
Or we can talk about other things. I have to say, though, I watched Jasmine's presentation here. When was it, Verna, on Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was a lot of really good information shared about homesteading. And I totally wish that I knew more about homesteading, like about raising rabbits and, I don't know, canning or like all those things. Like that's what I'm learning from.
Oh. Just a minute, you guys. Let me call her real quick. Gotta unlock my phone. Oh man, that's terrible. We gotta find her number now. Phooey. Sorry about that, Linda.
Oh, that's okay. I just kind of rambled.
I just want to take the thing away, and it kicked you too.
That's okay. Oh, thanks, Buster. I just read your comments. Esso says, one question that many people ask, what is the capacity for quail in the aviary? Yeah. This year I was able to test that because I think at one point we had 160 quail in there, but I think that the ideal is 2 square feet per bird for me. I don't have any aggression issues ever. I've never had one quail hurt another quail in my aviary, and it's because it's big enough that they can run away or fly away, which is really nice. And that's good for me because and if you're raising quail in aviaries, this is an advantage. I can keep extra males on hand. And like I had somebody who was training a hunting dog, and he would come and get a few males every week, and I was able to accommodate him because I knew exactly how many extras I had. I have made the mistake of not paying attention to my male to female ratio, and at one point I checked and I was at a 2-to-1 in the aviary. I was appalled, but again, I had no aggression, so I didn't realize it had gotten that out of control because I was just kind of putting quail back in as I got him back from the Hatching at Home program.
But the problem wasn't Linda's raining. The problem was my fumble fingers.
Hi, Vicki. It's good to see you here. Yeah, Dawn, you're right. Square footage probably would. This might sound woo-woo, but my quail will tell me when it's too crowded and when there's too many males or when there's just too many birds, because I can feel their stress level. I notice that there's a little bit more running around or popping or chasing. And when I feel that that's happening, I'll take account and move some birds out if I need to. So it's quite different than raising in cages. So says Linda, are you still doing celadon? If you have both, how do you house them separately? I am only doing celadon right now, except for now I'm starting the jumbos from my shire. I do have a second aviary built, and the jumbos will go into that aviary. I've mixed them in the past, and I won't ever do that again. I need to know which ones are my celadons, because I make a lot more money on those eggs than I do on standard eggs.
Linda, how long have you been going to QuailCon?
I missed the first year because I didn't know about it, but I've gone the last 2 years and I loved it. It was so much fun. Got to spend some time with Vicki Kenton, who's here. She's my neighbor, but she and her daughter and I got to spend some time out there together. And it's just a blast. I can't say enough good about QuailCon. So if you're new to the Quail community, please join us at QuailCon if you can. Dawn says, Linda, that is true. I just can't fit everyone the same into all cages too. Some I can get double the amount of birds and others 3 to 1. Yeah. Dawn, it's good to see you here.
How did you find out about quail?
Oh, because I failed miserably at chickens. So when we bought the farm, we adopted a flock of 300 chickens and sold eggs at the farmer's market. And I was new to everything. And so I didn't really sit down and until I did my taxes, I didn't really know what I was making. And I almost cried when I saw how little I was making on chicken eggs. And I just said, this is way too much work for so little money. At the same time, my friend John, who's a farmer down the street, he wanted to have some quail. And so we got a small covey together of celadons. And so one day, as I was like kind of processing this information, like I can't make a living selling chicken eggs. I looked down at those quail and I'm like, you know what? They're so much easier. I wonder if there's a market for them. And that started the process. Oh, Ed said, Linda, I need to send you a set of quail egg earrings to match. This is Ed. Ed Got Bates is his username. Made this beautiful wishbone jewelry for me, and yeah.
And I had the matching earrings.
Oh yeah, and these are from Christina Gudreau's at Gudreau's family farm too. So, and again, both people that I got to meet and interact with and enjoy at QuailCon. So. Esso says, why are your celadon so much more popular than standard? At the farmer's market, when people see the blue quail eggs, they stop. It's a conversation starter. They're just beautiful. And it could have to do with the farmer's market that I go to. The winter market that we got into for this year that we'll continue with, it's year round, is in a high-end neighborhood. It's awesome. People don't even, I'm selling my 18 packs for $10 and people don't even blink an eye at that. But they're foodies and they want something new. to play with. So what I'm finding is this year is that I need to have like recipe cards or something to hand out to people so they know what to do with them. I need to find, I need to make cards that say like how to boil a quail egg or how to fry a quail egg, and give some recipes that are easy to do. Because once, and then I give out a lot of quail egg scissors, and that helps out a lot too. So it's a combination. It's the eye-catching aspect of it. It's that the blue quail eggs are harder to get. Personally, I like having the blue quail eggs because they're a little easier to candle. And so for the kids who are doing hatching at home, they're a little bit more likely to be able to see some movement inside the shell with those blue quail eggs. It said, yes, Christina makes very nice feather earrings, and that wishbone necklace is a real quail wishbone that's been copper plated and then silver plated and then polished. Thank you, Ed, for those details. I don't know all the details. I just know it's beautiful and I love wearing it. Linda, come to my house and we'll do some canning. We can send you home with some canned quail. I would love to try canned quail. Yeah. Next time I have some males, Vicky, I will be hitting you up because yeah, I'm not so experienced at canning. It kind of intimidates me. Friday is my last work day, and then I'm fully retired. Congratulations, Vicky. I cannot wait to see what you do with your quail and in your life, in your new age of retirement. You're very young to be retiring too, which makes me very jealous. So says congrats.
If you're leery of canning, we can always get you to get a freeze dryer and do it that way. It's a lot easier.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it can last up to 25 years.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. Yeah. Yeah, if the zombie apocalypse ever comes, I'm going to go trade quail for some freeze-dried food.
Well, let's see. In your state, you have Katrina, who has freeze-dried food. If you came out this way, then it would be me. And if you went halfway, it'd be Steve or Andy.
I'm coming, you guys. Just be prepared for me, okay? Andy says, when I first moved out of my mom's house, I would go to the butcher and ask him to sell me something. Then I would ask him how the best way was to cook it. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure, yeah. I think I would do that if I bought like a rabbit, because I don't really know how to do a rabbit other than to stuff it in a crock pot.
Now, let me ask you a few questions.
Okay.
Do you use all parts of your quail? I
do. And remember how I mentioned the guy who trains dogs?
Yeah.
I was finally able to find a place. He uses my wings now because I always save the wings. And yeah, save the backbones for broth. And the
backbones and the feet for broth.
Yeah.
You save the heads for dog treats.
Oh, that's interesting. So I also have a lady who comes and buys chicken heads and quail heads from me because apparently, I don't know, maybe somebody here who's smarter than me will know this. There's some kind of amino acid that's unique to bird brains that cats need. Yeah. Does anybody know what that is? I don't know what that is.
No, I don't know what the acid is.
Yeah, but she'll pay me $2 a pound for the chicken heads, and I save those up. Oh.
Did you know you can also save, how do you process your birds? Do you pluck them or do you skin them?
When I have a lot to do, I skin them. But I really love a beautiful plucked bird. I think if this year, if the jumbo sales go well and I can get my legs under me for doing the meat birds, I really want to get a plucker. Um, and I would love to get your recommendations if anybody out here
with
has a plucker.
okay, I will tell you this. You don't actually need a plucker with quail,
No?
but if you do decide to pluck them, you only have to get the water to 135, and then put
Really?
it in a towel and wipe the small feathers right off with a towel.
Okay. Okay. That's good to know. I know we have a big plucker for when we process chickens,
Yeah,
and
but there
it's
is a
so
small
much easier.
plucker you can get on Amazon.
Mhm.
Let me see if I can get it up here.
And Ed Got Bait says if you clean the heads, you can sell them on eBay. Yeah, I love following Kelly Connects. I know she's got a sick one right now. A little one of her daughter's really sick tonight, so she's not with us. But Kelly does amazing things using Ed's techniques to create the skulls, jewelry with the skulls and with the feet. And I just love seeing the things that she makes. So thank you, Ed, for helping to educate us on how to make those beautiful pieces that are being sold out there now.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me.
Oh, PJ, you have the hatching time plucker and you love it. Okay, cool. All right, I will make a note of that.
And there's also, well, let me see if I'm looking at here.
While you're looking that up, Verna, one thing that I
There you
want to
go. Here's
say.
another one. Go ahead.
Okay. One thing that I want to say about doing the meat birds is that some of you may be familiar with the American white breast. They're a breed of chicken from France. And in France, they're highly prized table birds. If you go to a restaurant and they serve you a breast chicken, they leave some of the shank on so that you can see that it's actually got the blue leg. They're red, white, and blue chickens. They have red combs, white bodies, and blue feet, like the French flag and the American flag. And the way that the French, what they feed them the last couple of weeks is grain soaked in milk, and they limit their movement, so they're kind of confined. And they also do some things to wrap up the bird after it's plucked, and it makes it taste really, really wonderful. I want to try that same technique with quail and see if that makes a difference. So that's another test that I'm
Soaking the
hoping to
grain
do.
in milk.
Mhm.
Soaking the grain in milk. I wish I would known that a week ago because I would be doing it because I got to kill all these birds off. I got to process all these birds within the next 2 days.
But
another thing you do is you can save your hides and set them out on borax laundry detergent, laundry booster.
Okay.
And it dries out the skins. And then you can sell those to people that tie flies and stuff.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, Ed said, I'm so glad people have learned how to do the things I came up with. And yes, Kelly is doing great quail earrings, just like I do. Yeah, Ed, your techniques are innovative. They're just, I just love the things that you're doing and love that you're willing to share those skills with the quail community so freely.
That's for the egg pillars.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
got
okay.
one. I got an egg pillar, but I don't have it out of the box yet. I'm so behind on projects, and I'm being pushed to put other things first before I can do the ones I want to do.
Yeah.
Because I have 7 kits that need to go into these cages in order to build the new cages that just came in today. I had to process all the extra birds and get rid of that extra cage.
Mm-hmm.
So that I have room for the rabbit cages. And that way I'm only 3 tier of quail cages and 2 tiers of rabbit cages because the rabbits take more room.
Yeah. Mhm. Verna, you do amazing things. I'm so inspired by you doing all the things that you do for self-sufficiency within your apartment.
Well, you got to learn to rethink things instead of you have to think outside the box. Instead of saying I can't, you got to figure how
Yeah.
can I
Yeah.
or what can I?
So S.O. Swanson said, Linda, you've had a few items at local restaurants. How did you get started with those? So yeah, when I
Mm.
first started, I had two main restaurant accounts, which were great. I loved them. Um, and I just ate there and gave samples to the chefs, and they called back and said we wanted them. So it was that simple. When I did Quail University, I gave those accounts away, and to a friend who was also raising quail, and so she now services those accounts. So when I started over this year, I approached several restaurants. I went out, I think it was like late summer, and just like hit everybody I could with quail egg samples, and got nothing. So I it was luck. And then also I kind of advised some other people who went ahead and like got a lot of the restaurant accounts around here. So I just have to maybe look in a different area. I was focusing on downtown Sacramento, but I was yeah. I think a part of it too is that chefs may not know all the things that can be done with quail eggs, and I've been trying to figure out how to reach those people and let them play with the quail eggs to see what they come up with. Right, Don said, I think you're simply fattening the birds up by soaking the grain in milk and then restricting movement. I think quail would have more fat on them. Yeah, yeah, that's the idea, is to have like, yeah, a thicker layer of fat under the skin and in the internal body cavity, so that it eventually kind of, that it would make it, yeah, taste better.
Yeah, then when you get to that part, you restrict their grit on that feed and
I,
let them get. eh, Wait a
you
minute,
would
my
risk,
mouth. I would not put grit into that feed when on the ones you just wanting to fatten up.
why, and why would that be?
Well, number one, they'd have less grit. Number two, they'll be wanting to eat more, so to make them fatter.
Oh, but my understanding is the grit actually helps with the digestion, so that the bird's body is able to utilize more of the nutrients.
That's true too. I was just thinking of different things, because you're going test wise and stuff like that, and so I'm thinking,
Yeah.
ah.
Well, it's a factor that definitely can be manipulated and tested out. Yeah, I would, if anybody else wants to do that test, I would love to know, what you come up with, because I think it could be something that sets your quail meat apart from others, and maybe would make it more desirable especially for restaurants. Oh, okay. Ed says, okay, Linda, hit me up on Messenger and give me your address, and I will send you a set of Celadon Blue earrings. Oh, Ed, thank you. Yes, I will definitely do that. You're so sweet. Thank
Yeah,
you.
because that would really help you out in the farmer's market.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've been trying to like do more to draw people's attention, and I think I might like, my husband has an iPad that he uses as a cheat sheet for when he's on stage for lyrics, because he's in a band, and so he can't remember all the lyrics, but he'll put like the beginning of the line and the end of the line on, so it kind of prompts him. So I might take that iPad and just put it on a stand and have a slideshow, pictures of quail and the blue eggs and and maybe things that, like, recipes that you can make with quail, just to kind of have something else to draw their attention toward the booth. Sometimes they just walk by and they don't notice.
Yeah, sometimes just draw pictures of finished food items. Like
Mm,
that's in my cookbook.
yes, yeah. Exactly. Verna, in case you don't know, Verna's got 3 cookbooks that are available at myshire.com. Quail in the Kitchen
I'm
1,
right here.
Quail in the Kitchen 2, and pickling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome. Egg got
Let
baked.
me.
Linda,
I
when you
see. Okay, go ahead.
do you want to put the link in the chat, Verna, for the cookbooks?
Well, I started to, but then somebody said the heart is showing up, and I got rid of the. I thought I got rid of the heart, and I guess it's showing up. It's a pain in the butt, so I had to get to it and fix it.
Ed says, Linda, when you give chefs the eggs, do you give them an info pack? I do. I tell them about how the quail are raised, what they're fed, just the care that goes into the quail, and that they're Japanese quail and not California quail, because people don't know the difference. But I've hesitated about giving them recipes because I don't want to insult them. I wish I knew how to do that. If anybody has any suggestions for me, I'm all ears.
Well, a lot of times when people sell things, like on the back of cookbooks, on the back of like packaged goods, they might have recipes on that, so you can give them a recipe on the package.
Yeah. I just hesitate about giving a recipe to a chef. It's kind of like giving medical advice to my doctor. I don't feel like I
Hey, I
can do
gave my doctor holistic recipes, and
Oh,
in
okay.
fact, I even gave him tea to try when he got sick. So
That's awesome, Verna.
you know how I am, and you know what? He formed a test. Him and his wife got sick at the same time. About a month after I gave him the tea. So he used the tea, and his wife only would use over-the-counter medicines.
Oh, really?
And they're both in medical field.
Oh, wow.
In 3 days, he was over it. He got sick on Friday. By Monday, he was ready to go back to work. And his wife was still couldn't get out of the bed.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
So, yeah. There you go. PG says, ask them if they would like a few recipes to try.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so Don says, Linda, use your information like your handout now, but put a special section for sample uses and recipes. Yeah. I think it would be so much fun for a restaurant to have a kids meal, a kids breakfast that had quail eggs.
That would be perfect because you get 2 quail eggs and they think they're eating 2 eggs.
Yep. And when I go to the bar and order a Bloody Mary, I would love a quail egg on that skewer. I just think it would be perfect. Oh, sorry, you guys. Let me mute my phone. This is something I should have done before we started. Okay, done. Back with you. PJ says, I'm a chef and always love to try new recipes. Oh, all right. So PJ, maybe I shouldn't be so worried about offending. That's good to know. I think the next round I will do that. And I love supplying to restaurants because I don't have to worry about packaging. Like there's no, I give them the flats and a use by date, and that's all. It's so much easier. So Ed said, yeah, I wouldn't give recipes, but maybe more nutritional info. Oh, that's something I hadn't considered. But that's a good idea to have the nutritional information.
Yeah, because there is a lot of good information from government and studies that will show us information on the nutrition value because quail eggs are higher in the B vitamins and etc.
Yeah, I think that would be important to highlight too. And PJ says the chefs can always use the basic recipe and then change it to make it their own. Okay, all right. PJ, would it be good to include pictures of the finished recipe? And as
That's
well.
always a goodie, I think,
Mm. I'm a
'cause
visual learner, so yeah, I always think of that, but again, I wanna make sure.
it's just like with all the recipes in the Quail in the cookbook. I mean, Quail in the kitchen cookbooks. 99% of them have recipes, and it has pictures.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I don't buy a cookbook unless it has pictures of, like, every single recipe.
Yeah, because you want to look and see what it's supposed to look like.
Yes, exactly. Oh, thanks, SO. SO says perhaps it's something that makes it look like it's part of the packaging. You do have great packaging. Thank you. I spent a lot of time on that packaging for my quail eggs. And what else? So I've shared, okay, thanks, PJ. I've shared things that are kind of like lighting me up, things that I'm excited about. What are you guys excited about right now? And it doesn't even have to be quail related or homesteading related. I love this community so much, and I like hearing from you guys. So what's up?
Well, I got my one rabbit already sold out of the 7.
Oh, good. All
I've
right.
already been studying on how to do the hides.
Okay.
And since males are harder, the older they get, the harder they are to skin, I will be using the males for food and the females not only for food, but for their hides. So I'll let them grow another month or so
Okay.
longer
Mm-hmm.
so that I can tan their hides.
Awesome.
Or
Verna, I have a question for you.
shoot,
Are you enjoying the rabbits more than what were they called? The guinea pigs. Cooey? No, cooey.
just cooey.
Cooey. More than
Yeah. Well, yes. Number one is this breed of rabbits are so friendly.
Oh.
They
What breed
want
are you
to
do you
pet them.
have? What
They're
breed do you
Havanas, Havana rabbits,
have? Okay. All right.
and they're not only more friendly, but rabbits are easier to skin to process. I mean, you can do the cervical dislocation a lot easier with rabbits than you can with quail.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to show you what the cervix of a quail, I mean, guinea pig looks like. Give me a second here.
Okay.
See that big bone at the base of the skull?
Uh-huh.
It's about as big as that's the cervix. That is what you have to break.
Oh, wow.
So that is hard, mostly if you're an older woman like me and don't have all that strength. Um, Otherwise, not only that, the gestation from 58 to 72 days is a heck of a lot longer than 30, 31 days.
Yeah.
So if you had room to grow a herd of rabbits, it's a lot easier than it is for guinea pigs.
Okay. All right. So PJ says Bruce is here with me for the week. First time I've had him to myself since QuailCon. That's awesome. And
Okay, I missed one. Yeah, that says Aaron can working on a special calendar for Aaron where he can do 124 at a time.
wow. That is so cool. And Don says, I'm finally getting my egg production back up by getting enough cages of birds so I can start with new customers waiting maybe next week. I can't short my regulars. Yeah, you got to take
Hello,
care of
Rudy.
those regulars. That's awesome, Don. I'm excited for you.
Thank you, James.
Yes, thanks, James. Smash the like button.
Okay, so on that, I don't know if you've seen any where I showed the kits, any of my videos.
No, not recently. I've been doing taxes.
Well, I haven't posted one recently,
Oh, okay.
but I've got 3 blues
Mm-hmm.
and 4 brokens. And the brokens go from a lilac broken to a black broken.
Mm-hmm.
And the broken is a white background, and it's broken up with color. So yeah.
Mm.
And my does are all broken, and my male's a solid black.
Oh, very
And
cool.
speaking of the devil, she appears.
We've been talking about you, Kelly. Good things. We've been in awe of your jewelry and thanking Ed for sharing his skill set so that you could make that beautiful jewelry. And we
Yes,
hope
that's
your
what.
little one, I hope your little one is doing better. RSV is no joke.
No.
Yeah, hope she's doing okay. That picture of her brother holding her hand was really sweet.
Yeah.
But glad you're here. Thanks for popping in.
And I don't know how Kelly can do all she does. I mean, she's got the kids
Right.
and everything else, and she's like a spitfire.
And tons of
She,
TikTok. She's so good on camera. I just watch her videos and I'm like, she's just so natural and fun to watch. So nice work, Kelly. Everything you do is just amazing.
it is. Wonder Woman Kelly. Yep, I agree.
Yep.
This is really fun. But everybody stop talking. I guess that's unusual. It's only an hour in and they've already ran out of things to say.
It's because of my limited knowledge,
No,
you know?
is they're all thinking, maybe they're all thinking about, okay, we got our captive here. How can we use her? What was those questions I was thinking about?
Well, when you have Katrina on, you could go any direction because Katrina is amazing. If you guys don't know her, what is her YouTube channel?
Oh, and
So
Tare.
SOW and Tare Tare. If you guys have
Yeah.
a chance to check her out, she's
Well, she'll be
solid.
here on the 30th. She'll be here Saturday.
As a speaker. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Good. As a guest.
Yeah.
As a guest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That is awesome. Yeah. So since they're online with Linda's bank, the bank that changed my life, it's gonna be a lot better. Quail University uses RelayFi, and now my bank, and I've been trying to convince my my hatching at home partner to use it as well because it's just so fun, so easy. What
yeah,
were you
I'm
gonna
gonna
say,
be checking into that. I'm gonna be checking into that RelayFi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I set up my new account, I did it all online. Oh, and even though they are an online bank, they do participate in an ATM network. So if you have cash to deposit, they didn't used to be this way, but they do now accept cash deposits. So I just go down to the local Walgreens. It's like 2 blocks away and make those deposits, which is really nice.
Well,
Bye,
that's
Dawn.
cool.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to be here.
Have a blessed night, Dawn. When you started hatching at home, did you visit a bunch of schools?
Great question. So thank you for asking that. We didn't. I got really lucky because it was a new thing in this area. I got featured on the local Fox station and they sent a reporter out, and the reporter that they sent out was really popular. He's this really fun guy, and he did 2 or 3 segments with me, and before I walked back into the house after saying goodbye to the film crew, my phone was ringing off the hook. So it was a great way to get started. Otherwise, I think that yeah, I don't really know how to reach teachers, but we have. I think just having the website is really important, because I think people are Googling to find this kind of thing. We have people from outside of the area all the time asking us, will you please ship us a kit? And we're like, no, we don't do that, because if a chick gets sick, or it's got a bad case of splay leg or something like that, we want to be able to go and pick that chick up. And if you're in San Francisco 2 hours away, that's not a possibility. So we'd like to keep it local, but there's a big demand for sure.
I'm just getting some coffee.
Okay. So Ed Got Bates says, like quail egg scissors, plastic egg cartons, paper egg flats. Oh, I'm missing some context
Well,
for that.
the one right above it is where he was telling he needs to get you to how to import things you need from China that are cheaper.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And sturdy paper egg flats. I haven't found a real good sturdy one yet.
I'm sure if there's any out there, Ed knows where to get them.
Yeah, Ed's really good at sourcing, especially from overseas. If anybody wants to import quail egg scissors or like cartons, Ed is the guy. He knows.
I know I need to get Ed on my schedule.
Yes. He would be.
I do have an opening January. I have an opening January 10th, which is a Wednesday, or any day from January 7th on.
Oh, Aaron says, Linda, the egg flats Ed got for me are great, 90 count flats. Great. And so they're sturdy, like they don't. I had some the other day that like wiggled. I just had some imported flats for Aaron. Ask him how they are. Yeah. And when I use these flats, when I stacked them, some of the bigger eggs broke on the bottom, so they weren't like tall enough. Hi, Figs and Quail. Nice to see you here.
That's Brooke.
That's Brooke?
Yep. Not the Brooke you know.
Okay. Another Brooke? Hi, Brooke. Yeah, so Erin, I would like to know if the flats that you got are big enough for jumbos and if they, stack well and they're sturdy.
That's what Erin said just before Ed said that.
Yeah. I'm wanting specifics.
Brooke, you're going to have to watch the beginning hour to really learn a lot of stuff, because you missed out on tons of information.
You have a homework assignment, Brooke.
They're big enough for jumbos, and he'll send you pictures.
Awesome. Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it. Aaron's a great resource. Oh my gosh. Learned so much from him.
Well, Aaron speaks on January 24th.
Great. That is good choice.
Christina speaks on January 13th.
Oh, cool. I like that you're taking separate tracks.
Well, yes, because they each bring something to the group.
Yes.
Okay, I'll go over the schedule now.
Okay.
December 30th is Katrina from Sew and Tear. January 3rd is Melanie and Ricky from the urban homestead. They moved from from Las Vegas to Tennessee recently. Just in time for QuailCon, and they're going to be speaking on safety issues.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
Then we have Chris Carnes on January 6th,
Cool.
who's slightly redneck.
Mm-hmm.
January 10th is open, people.
Ed.
January
Always hearing you,
13th
Ed.
is Christina from Gidro's Family Farm. January 17th, for at least for about a half an hour, will be Zach from My Shire Farm, because we're not taking him away from his hatching
From hatching hour.
meeting. Yeah,
Okay.
hatching hour. And then on January 20th, we have Matt from Grafted Branch Homestead.
Nice.
Then January 24th is Aaron from Gidro's Family Farm.
Awesome.
Oh, Desiree, when's your birthday? Oh, ask me sometime about this in private.
About buy me a cup of coffee?
Yeah.
Okay, I will. January 9th is your birthday. It is coming up fast.
We'll have a blessed natal day.
Natal day. I like that.
Yeah, natal is birth.
Yeah.
Everybody's telling you, if you want some darn good teas, go to Grafted Branch Homestead.
Darn good what? Keys?
Tea.
Uh-huh. Oh, teas. Like the kind you drink?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I'll check them out.
Right here. Right here is the link.
Okay.
Well, Desiree, that means you need to get some quail or some rabbits. That way you always have something around you.
Oh. Well, come to QuailCon. We'll have a birthday celebration. Belated. Very belated.
Yeah, anytime after the first of the year, he's supposed to be on. So the first Sunday after New Year's.
Here's something I want to ask you guys. Does anybody have a preference if you pluck your birds? Do you have a preference for white jumbo whites or jumbo wilds, and why? I went with wilds just because I've had the whites in the past, and it seems like they're the first to die or get sick. I'm not sure why, but I'm hoping that the wilds are better. And the ones that I got, were local. They weren't from any breeding.
The wilds, I think, are the best, or the jumbled white-winged pharaohs.
Why? Like what? Like tell me more about why you like those the best.
Well, jumbo wilds, they're the biggest of the bunch.
Okay.
Number one.
Okay.
The jumbo white-winged pharaohs is you got all the benefits of the wilds, but you have some white feathers to go along with it.
Okay. And like Erin is saying, the ones with the white feathers, they clean up nicer.
The whites are easier to clean, but some people just say just like the look.
Okay. And Esso says whites are supposed to be cleaner. However, the brown feathers are just as easy and easier to see a remaining feather. Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah, because there's contrast. Got it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Wilds always seem to pluck easier, harder to see feathers on whites. Okay. All right. Okay. Because I went with jumbo wilds. So now I'm seeing some benefits. Thank you for that. Oh, Andy said I just skinned my quail so far. Yeah. I'm hoping to get a restaurant customer, which is tricky here. There's regulations. No surprise. We're California. But I got to talk to somebody about the language in the law, because it says that I have to have my birds USDA processed in order to sell them to a restaurant, which means I have to drive them 100 miles away each way to get them processed, right? Which automatically cancels out any profit I might have. But in the law, it says that boarding houses and restaurants can own their own animals and harvest their own animals. So I'm wondering if I could find a restaurant that would buy like would let me keep their quail covey, and then they can get birds from their own quail covey.
Or they can buy them live and process them themselves.
Oh, I have to find out if they can do that legally without being USDA
Well, yes, because if they
certified.
can own their own animals and use their own animals,
Mm-hmm.
that means that they can process them
Oh,
and
yeah.
etc.
Okay. Good idea. I'll look into that. I love Mississippi. We can do restaurants. Yet I am jealous of your personal freedoms there.
Yeah, because it's so expensive to get them to be processed at a USDA facility
Yeah.
that it's not worth the problems.
Yeah.
It eats up all your profit. You don't have any profits.
Oh, yeah. The last quote I got was $5 a bird for USDA processing for quail.
Steve says they can process their own and you can help.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm trying to get a meeting with a lobbyist who's done farming law for a long time here, and I want to get some clarification on what I can and cannot do. If they buy them, then they own them, then they can hire you to butcher them. I like that. I'm going to bring that up with this guy. Yeah. There's got to be a way to get around the law. I'm sure it was made for a good reason, but it doesn't make sense when it comes to quail.
A lot of things don't make sense when it comes to quail.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the laws are made for bigger animals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Become an employee of the restaurant. There you go. Yeah.
I don't know what soto means.
So I don't know, a sort of employee of the restaurant, or a solo employee, or a I don't know. Ed, help us out. We're getting stuck on that word.
A subcontractor you can become to the employee as an employee as a subcontractor.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Luckily, I live in the state capital, and so I've got access to
A pseudo employee.
oh, okay, yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. If you want to learn to work around some rules, I know a person who can help. All right. I'll be contacting you, because I'm assuming you're talking about you.
A contractor employee is a subcontractor, yeah.
Okay.
So you put us all together and we do great at brainstorming.
Yeah. We should teach a class how to get around the laws. You don't think you could do lives from, be careful, I don't think you can do lives from the big house.
Yeah, in other words, jail.
In other words, what? I didn't get it.
In other words, jail.
Oh, jail. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Or
Well,
prison.
here's a hard lesson. You remember you guys, I told you that we do a rooster program where people bring me their unwanted backyard roosters and I sell them live.
Uh-huh.
It's illegal for most people here to take a rooster home and butcher it in their yard. A lot of my customers don't have a yard. They live in an apartment, so they're butchering in their bathtub because that's what's available to them. And it's all kinds of illegal. So on my website, I have the rooster program page, and I say that if you bring your rooster to my farm, it's going to be used to feed a family. I didn't say that I process that chicken. But I recently asked my insurance provider to give me a quote for what it would cost to cover quail and chicken butchering. And he did. They went to my website, saw that page, and they assumed that I was butchering, and they canceled my insurance. My business insurance. I have no business insurance. That is
BS.
I've also had my homeowner's insurance canceled because I had chickens. So just word to the wise. I think Joel Salatin said it, like, go ahead and do the things that you want to do. If they're illegal, don't talk about them. So I thought that I was
Don't advertise it.
Yeah.
Except for word of mouth.
I was trying to protect the people who were buying from me, but because I left it vague, I got myself in trouble. So maybe I should just take that off my website altogether. I'm not sure. But I really like the rooster program because it solves a problem. There's so many people with they go to the feed store and they buy 10 chicks and, even if they think they're all female, one or two ends up being a rooster and they don't have anywhere to take it. It's really hard it's illegal on Facebook to, advertise your roosters there. People do it, but anyway, I just think it's like a good solution. There's people who want roosters for food and there's people who want to get rid of their roosters. But
you could rephrase that though, on your website.
Yeah.
Is you have open discussion about roosters.
Yeah. I don't know if people will know that. That means they can bring their unwanted rooster to me.
Well, that means they can call you and find out.
Yeah. Yeah. We could do that. I'll experiment with that. I definitely have to change it. My insurance agent's working really hard to get my insurance policy reinstated. Yeah. So I did get penalized for trying to be honest, but also I am processing.
There you go. Change it to rooster adoption.
Yeah, but I don't want people to think that they're bringing their rooster to me and I'm going to rehome it because I'm not. And I think they would be really angry if they found out that I was actually, using them for food, that they were, because people,
Or you can keep it like it is and say that you don't do the butchering.
Yeah, I think I will update that page to say that I don't do the butchering. That I screen families do, but then again, I'm really hesitant to do that because I don't want them to get in trouble.
Well, you know what? On my birthday, had a neighbor. I had a visit from the health department.
Oh,
because a neighbor turned me in because I had guinea pigs and quail. Well, at the time I only had quail. No, I had guinea pigs and quail. And She knew I was raising them for food. Well, the health department, they seen my garden outside,
Mm-hmm.
my green stalk and all my pots.
Mm-hmm.
She had already looked at my YouTube channel because they claimed that I was butchering on my YouTube channel. I don't butcher on my channel. I show the results after I butcher. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, then, so she didn't even come in my apartment. She goes, "Do you have heat? Do you have water? Do you have electricity? Are you safe? Are you got everything you need to live?" And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, we don't need to go in your apartment." She goes, "You're just trying to do what the rest of us are trying to do."
Just yeah. Awesome. Good for her.
In other words, they could see I'm trying to homestead in an apartment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that means they know that I'm processing the food myself and everything else. They
Yeah.
don't care. They don't care. They just wish other people would try to be more self-sufficient.
Mm-hmm. So S.O. Swanson said, yeah, I need to find a more farm-friendly insurance company. Yeah, my broker is I chose him specifically because he does work primarily with farmers, but he said people don't like to touch chicken butchering. Like it's just way too risky for most insurance companies. So
Oh, because of salmonella and stuff.
yeah,
And you
well,
don't have you don't
pandemic
have
happened.
that problem with. Go ahead.
When the pandemic happened and so many people got backyard chickens and didn't really know how to care for them or like let their kids kiss on them and handle them and not wash their hands and stuff, there were increased cases of kids getting sick from chickens. And so I think it's the CDC has a statement on their website that says like they don't recommend that kids under the age of 5, I think, handle chickens at all.
That's because they carry the salmonella so high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, I didn't mean to bring the mood down.
No, you're fine. You just got everybody thinking. Everybody's trying to help you through your problem.
Yeah, we'll find another insurance carrier and see the thing of it is I don't know how much it would cost. I want to know that. Like if I wanted I can legally process up to 1,000 birds on site without any kind of government inspection or and I can sell them directly to customers. That's totally fine in terms of the law. But I don't know how much it would cost me to have insurance coverage for that.
Uh-huh. Hello, Nancy. That's our treasured home.
Hi, Nancy. Good to see you here.
Yeah, you got to know what your laws are and how to work around them. It's not that you're breaking the laws. It's like I said, you got to learn to think outside the box.
Yeah, like having a restaurant own a covey.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't say that it has to be owned on their property.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, there's a lot of room for interpretation there in the language of the law.
Yeah.
In a boarding house, what is a boarding house? Like, is that like an Airbnb? Is that a boarding house? So if you have an Airbnb,
Kind of, sort of.
mm-hmm.
I'll go to Craigslist and ask anybody if they're selling quail, butchered quail.
Yeah, locally here, there's one farm that does sell meat, and that's how they advertise primarily, is on Craigslist.
Nancy, you should have seen the first hour of the live stream. You would have learned a lot.
Now you have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, then you put a sign on that quail cage. That's the property of.
Oh yeah, I would definitely like keep it completely separate. They have their own covey or own aviary, and it would be, yeah.
Hello, Katrina.
Hi, Katrina. Good to see you here.
Don't forget Saturday.
We're looking
Yeah,
forward to having you on as a guest, Katrina, because you have a lot more to say about homesteading and than I do. We've run out of conversation here, so you
you
can
would
jump
have
in right now.
you would have to watch the first hour. You can get poor quality frozen standard quail in the frozen food section in many grocery stores.
You know, this is interesting to me anyway. I'm sharing it anyway. The guy who supplies quail to like all the famous restaurants on the eastern seaboard, like all, and like here, the French Laundry, all the high end restaurants.
Uh-huh.
He lives probably 20 miles away from me. And he has spent his entire life dedicated to raising quail. He has these enormous birds. They're huge. And he has dialed in their feed. He's done, and it's really hard to find information about him. The restaurant owners all know him, but he doesn't participate in any of the quail groups. He's not like, there's no information about him online. The only thing that I was able to find about him was that there was a fire in the area where he lived, and he lost a lot of his birds in that fire. And so they had a short news clip about it. But I would love to get a hold of him and ask him questions, and learn from him. But yeah, if I ever get the chance, I will let you guys know, because I'm sharing. He'd be wonderful to talk to. Oh, Katrina, you're on the 30th. 30th. Oh, of this, like in a few days.
That's Saturday. Yeah.
Saturday.
That's Saturday.
Cool.
Yep. That's okay. We all do that. We're only human beings.
That sound that you guys are hearing, I don't know if you can hear it. It's my GQF. It makes a loud noise.
Okay. Use Google Earth and look for his bird cages outside.
Yeah.
Her GQF. That's a type of incubator.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's the big cabinet incubators. We have 2 of them in the living room. My husband is really, really good about supporting me. Yeah, they're part of the living room furniture. They serve as coffee tables and incubators, and often we have chicks. I won't let the chicks go out to the brooder for the first couple of days, so he puts up with those babies in the house for a couple of days so I can watch them. You thought it was an AC. Yeah. Yeah, Ed, I'm going to try to get some of the restaurant owners to maybe share his contact information with me. but he may not be willing to, you know, to share
Yes,
his knowledge.
it's
SL says it's a big, it is a big money, very good incubator. She just wanted to brag, wanted us to know she had a GQF. All right, I did buy them
no, she
used.
has 2 of them.
I had to buy them together, but I think I got them for 300 each, from a farmer who actually was beloved in this area, and he passed away, and his wife let me buy them from him. So they have sentimental value, and they're wonderful incubators. Oh, you didn't find anything on Craigslist? Okay.
It's CRAIGSLIST. If you can't find Craigslist, it could be because you misspelled it.
So Katrina, there's a person who raises quail and supplies all the high-end restaurants in the country, like even on the East Coast, and the French Laundry here with quail. And he lives in Vacaville, which I don't know if you know where. You probably know, that's close to me. I think less than 20 miles away. And very little information about this guy. The chefs all know him, but I would love to get in touch with him and ask him a lot of questions. I'm not sure if he would be willing to talk with me, but I would love that. Cowtown, yep. Vacaville.
Yeah, you wanna find out how he gets around the laws, huh?
Well, yeah, I know he's using a USDA processor. So he must be getting, yeah, I don't know how he's making money with that, but maybe he has a good deal because he's probably doing high volumes. And he's probably getting a lot of money for them. Oh, hey, Bobby. Yeah. There's a delivery truck here with mulch. You could just maybe pick a spot out by Jules.
What?
They could stick it out by Jules' trailer.
Hello.
Okay, sorry.
That's afternoon. After we forget, it's afternoon for you. To us, it's after dark.
It is after dark here, but my neighbor who has a tree company, he just shows up sometimes with a big load of wood chips and delivers them to us, and we love it because it's free bedding for the aviaries, and it covers up all the bare ground that we have here, and it feeds the soil, and it keeps me from having to mow 2.5 acres, which I love. Yes, Brent Wolf is the guy.
Yeah, you can't get any animals on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah. Yeah, mulch is the best. Yeah.
I have to get a peppermint because my mouth tastes like milk residue from all the coffee.
Okay.
Oh boy. There you go. Ed says you need goats.
I do have somebody who's she's got a trailer here on the property, and she is just graduated from the California Farm Academy, and she wants to learn how to be a farmer. She has 2 sheep that she is rotationally grazing throughout the yard, and just started that a couple months ago, and I love it. They're eating down the grass, and I'm hoping that she stays for a while and keeps that up because I don't have to move the sheep around. She's doing it for the experience, and it's awesome. Andy says, if you know a restaurant that gets quail from him, ask that restaurant when he delivers and make a point to be there that day, and he delivers and start a conversation with him. That's a good plan. I like that. I like that, Andy.
Like I said, you got to think outside the box.
Yep.
Well, Desiree, I could always freeze dry some quail and you can buy it, and I'll ship it to you. Tell you how to rehydrate it.
TM, the sheep that are here are, oh, I'm gonna say it wrong, but hair sheep. I think they
Yeah.
don't have to be shorn.
No,
I
they
think they
scrape it off
Mhm.
on everything.
Yeah. No room for goats here unless they eat aluminum and steel. And if they do, I don't want them. Just follow the fire.
I don't know. You'd have to call me later or tomorrow, and we can talk about it. Since you've got my number.
Here's something I want to hear from you guys. For those of you who are doing quail for profit, what is the one thing that you make the most money on? The item that you make the most money on? Like, is it hatching eggs? Is it live chicks, full-grown birds? I'm looking at my numbers from Flockstar, and I'm realizing, like, for my breasts, I'm realizing that I could make a lot more money with actually live birds. Like, if I grew them out, I could make more money. I'm just interested to see what your
That's true. It's no longer cheap.
yeah. Interested to know what your thoughts are, because I'm still trying to like decide the direction of my farm next year. What to focus on.
Well, the hatching eggs have to be fresh. Okay. And your eating eggs are not as fresh.
That's a good question, Esso. So the hatching eggs that I sell Celadon hatching eggs for 20 a dozen. They're less if they're eating eggs. Because the Celadons are easier to candle. I go through a process where I candle each one. If the air cell is not attached, if you could see it, like sometimes it's little bubbles running around in there, I weed those out. I weed out anything with a crack or a fissure or even like a weak point. I weed out the ones that are too big or too small or too pointy or too rounded, just to try to make sure that they have good results. And then if they don't have good results, I want to make sure that that customer is happy with their experience. And oftentimes, if they get a poor hatch rate for whatever reason, and it can be their incubator, I follow Zach's lead and customer service, because he's amazing at guaranteeing a 50% hatch rate. I do the same. So I'll either give them replacement eggs or chicks. And so it ends up costing me a little bit more in time, and then that guarantee costs me a little bit more sometimes. So that's why my hatching eggs are a little bit more expensive. Hope that answered your question. It's a good question. Wait, these are going by too fast.
A lot of them are for the other. Okay. When you say what you can get more money for, with Ed, it's all the other products that he makes with things that are normally thrown away.
Oh, yeah. What did you call it, Ed? Cash for trash? I love that. I love that ingenuity of like coming up with something that you can do with things that are normally thrown away. I don't have any quails, but someone in the classifieds was asking if anyone would be interested in pickled quail eggs.
In other words, they were looking to sell out their pickled eggs.
Oh, yeah. When my granddaughter learned about quail in school, she said we ate them. The kids told her people don't eat quail. She came home and asked me why they said that. Told her there was only a few groups of people who ate them: us, hunters, and rich and famous people. So she got out of that. We are rich. I love that. Yeah, good point, Katrina. Yeah, about being careful about how the pickled eggs are made and handled.
Now that I have to agree with Katrina that yeah, what children get out of something when you explain to them is priceless. Like some people love when I tip with quail eggs. I don't give cash tips because cash is a scarce commodity. But I got plenty of extra eggs.
That's awesome, Verna.
Gave it to one girl. She looked at it. Oh my God, my boyfriend's gonna love these.
They're so much fun to cook with. I am lazy. I don't cook very much, and I've never like actually pickled quail eggs. But my husband loves kimchi, so I boiled quail eggs, which is the first step, right? And I peeled them and I put them in the kimchi for a couple of days, just like kind of mixed them up in there, and they were really good because they kind of soaked up the kimchi flavor. And but it wasn't like all the way through the egg. It was just kind of on the outside a little bit, and it was fabulous. So that's my cheater way of making pickled quail eggs.
Well,
Not truly pickled, but flavored,
pickled.
flavored quail eggs, shall we say?
Well, see, pickled quail eggs. On pickled eggs, they're not pickled all the way through. You can't get all
They're
the way
not.
through the yolk. No,
Oh, okay.
it's just the outside flavoring.
It doesn't ever soak
And
all the way in.
right.
All right. Good.
So what is good is you can use your favorite pickle, your favorite pickles. Empty the jar, save the juice, put eggs in it.
For dill. Yeah, dill flavor
Yeah.
ones. So said, I just feel bad. Oh, So was talking about
Okay.
having to price the pickled eggs so high, but the jar and the ingredients are not cheap either. Yeah, yeah. Here, they don't fall under the cottage foods laws. So if I were to make pickled quail eggs to sell, and this would be true for Katrina as well, we would have to rent a commercial kitchen to do that, and that can get pricey. To add to the cost of the jar and the lid and the eggs and all your ingredients.
Yeah, but you can't have salt anymore, Ed. I'm so sorry. Now, did you hear about the special jerky I made for Ed?
Mm-mm.
It was saltless.
Really?
Yep.
So it's just freeze dried. Is it
No,
freeze
it
dried?
wasn't freeze. Nope.
Jerky.
It
How
went
did you do that?
through my dehydrator,
Mm-hmm.
and I used certain seasoning on it, and it was yeah.
Awesome. That's
He loved
cool.
it.
Oh, SO says I can't legally sell them either, but for a $9 tip, they can steal a jar when I'm not looking. Yeah. I see.
There you go. There you go. That's what he said about my jerky that I made him.
Damn good stuff. It's so good. It didn't last long enough. Katrina says lots of things that are under the cottage food laws in California are not under the cottage food laws in California. If it's only renting the commercial kitchen, you have to have your own permit as well. Oh, yeah. I forgot about the
You
permit.
know, in Ohio,
Yeah.
freeze-dried foods are not under the cottage law either.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah. Mostly for friends and family. Yeah.
But that is one of the weird things, you know. Ohio, never mind. No, not going to go there. Don't go there, Verna.
Okay. All right. Well, Verna, we're coming up on 6:00. We've been here for 2 hours. Do you want to, and it
You
seems
can
like
go. You can go anytime that you want to
how long do you stay on?
until it gets slow in here. Right now, we still have 13 people watching.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll stay on.
So yeah, but if you have things to do like getting supper and stuff like that,
I will
you
stay
can go
on
ahead.
at least till 6:00.
You have a blessed day, Nancy.
Thanks, Nancy.
Desiree says we stay on until someone falls asleep. No, last time I quit at the 2 hour mark, a 2 hour and
You
15-minute mark.
Okay.
So the longest we went is 6 hours.
What? Are you serious?
I'm
Verna,
serious.
you need some kind of award for that. Dang.
It was on a Saturday
Longest
morning
one.
and we didn't realize it. I says, "Hey, you guys, we've been on for 6 hours. I've got to get work done."
Oh, TM, you're funny. TM's asleep. So Katrina
Egg
says
meat,
eggs, meat.
milk, and milk products all need to be extra permitted in California. So all those people selling cookies and cheesecake out of their kitchens are doing so illegally in California. But I tell you what's really good freeze dried. You have extra cheesecake and you don't want to sit there and eat it all. Put it in thin slices and put it through the freeze dryer, and it comes out like a cookie.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And then you can dip it in your coffee to soften it up if you're like me and don't have teeth. And it's just like taking a bite of a fresh coffee cake.
Oh, wow. That sounds delicious. Andy says, I remember that 6-hour live. I've been asking for Discord so we can all chat more than this. I've never used Discord.
I would rather, yeah, I don't even want to think about Discord.
No? Oh, okay. Why not?
I don't make anything small, Katrina. So I make a full-size New York style cheesecake.
Okay, Ed, I would agree with you there. I tried really hard to apply for a grant for my Rooster program, and the minimum was $75,000. And you'll ask my husband, he will attest to this. I worked on that grant for a couple of weeks and I could not make it work because everything I wanted to do was illegal. So yeah. Don't get me started.
Desiree, what I do is I take all my eggs, put them in a bowl, scramble them up like you're getting ready to cook them, then pour them in my freeze dryer trays. Put them through the freeze dryer. When it says it's done, I check and see if it's done. If there's any cold spots on the eggs, I know it needs more time. And then I do it. Then when it comes out, I run it through a blender to make it in powder. And I know for every 2 tablespoons of powder, You use 2 tablespoons of water, and it equals the same volume as 1 chicken egg. And it comes out just like you just scrambled it up out of the egg. So,
Really? That's
really.
awesome, Verna.
So now it's about 9 o'clock. I can go ahead and have a cigarette with everybody seeing.
Kids are gone. Safe now.
Well, kids should be in bed.
Does this mean I can break out my bottle of wine?
I don't care.
Yeah. It was not a pleasant day the day I gave up on that grant. There's no such thing as extra cheesecake, just the piece I've not yet eaten. There you go.
And that's why I put it through the freeze dryer so it doesn't go bad before I can eat it. Yes, you can do that as well.
Oh, so you can do freeze-dried egg whites.
Yeah, so
Would they whip up like
I
egg whites?
would whip it up a little bit, but not enough to make it frothy,
Yeah.
you know.
But no,
That way,
after you're done freeze drying
actually,
it.
when you reconstitute it,
Uh-huh.
that's what they call meringue powder.
Oh.
Yes.
You
You add a
guys,
little
you guys
cream of
know all
tartar
kinds.
to it. You add a little bit of cream of tartar to it when you go to process it,
Yeah.
so that when it's freeze dried, it's already got the cream of tartar.
Dang. That's
So it's ready.
California. Ed.
Yeah, Desiree, I'm okay. See, there's a way to do everything. You just have to think of different ways to find the right one. Yeah, at 6 p.m. where she's at, where Linda's at. It's 9:02 p.m. here.
I could stay on for a few more minutes, Verna, and then I need to go put all my animals to bed.
All you have to do is take yourself off, you know,
Okay.
and because it doesn't affect my channel.
Oh, good. Okay.
And what happens is, if you were co-streaming with me,
Mm-hmm.
I would let your co-stream, if you didn't mind, keep running so you get more watch hours.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you guys are amazing. You know all about this, the streaming and the YouTube stuff, and yeah, and
Look,
all the freeze drying and the homesteading skills. And I'm in awe of you guys. Katrina says they say the yolks by themselves don't reconstitute. Great. I have not done eggs yet. I wonder if anyone has done salt cured egg yolks in the freeze dryer. How would that turn out? Oh, that's a good idea.
well, another thing, Katrina, you can think about is adding just a touch of milk to the egg yolks when you whip them up. It's just they don't reconstitute if you keep them whole. If you mix them up, they should, because then it's broken down. And I second what Steve says. We appreciate you sharing with us, Linda. Not just for tonight, but all your sharing. You are amazing.
Thank you, So that's Steve. That's
And
so nice.
she has so much knowledge and in marketing and how to do other things.
I will hit you up on Messenger, Ed. Thank you guys. This has been really fun hanging out with you. I've been looking forward to it all day, and it was really wonderful to see you guys. And I look forward to all the things we're going to learn together in 2024. I'm going to go put my birds to bed. Good night, y'all. Okay.
You have a blessed night. Well, I know you can freeze dry cheese. And it reconstitutes quite good if it's at least powder. It probably would. You can give it a try. What's the worst that'll happen? You end up losing a batch of egg yolks. What one of what do I have? If you're asking about which freeze dryer I have, it's a Harvest Right. I believe in going with the original. I don't need no name brand knockoffs when it comes to equipment. Depends on the size you want. Let me see if I can find you the link here. Let me make the smaller URL so that you can see it. I have a medium. Yeah, that's the worst. Then well, you'd have to take it apart and clean it anyway. See, that link that I put is to Harvest Right. Yeah, but you can get them on a. You can do a $250 puts it down on layaway. Yeah, I got the medium one and only had 4 trays in it instead of 5 because I figured I could find ways to fill up 4 trays, but there's no way I can fill up more than that. Well, I put all my Christmas ham in it. It was a spiral ham, so I just cut it off the bone and put it in the freeze dryer. Now I've got 3 bags of ham that I could use anytime I want. I can make ham salad out of it. I can make bean soup with it. Anything. I might even find my jars and start getting things ready for QuailCon so people can buy their breakfasts where all they have to do is add water and then cook it. Yep, more than shelf stable. It's stable for up to 25 years. On me, I looked at the price difference between a small and a medium, and I figured there wasn't that much of a difference in price. I would be better off with a medium than a small. Right. Now, when you do cheeses and that, what you have to do is you have to wipe the excess fat off of it, and that way it lasts. And I've got a jar of cheese powder. I would advise you, if you've never had them before, is to boil them for 3 minutes and then shell them and eat just hard boiled eggs. That way you can get a taste and see if you like them or not. Not really. You can do a whole batch for like about $2 worth of electricity. Yeah, and if you want to try them in baked goods, it takes a quarter cup equals an egg, one chicken egg. Yeah, they don't use much electricity. If you don't freeze your stuff and put it in there, to take about $2 worth of electricity. If you freeze it, it cuts the time down. And I always let mine go on at least an extra 3 hours, even after it says it's dry. Because I figure you can't over dry them, but you can under dry them. And if you don't have a heat gun that tells you what the temperature are of things, then you have to touch each one and make sure that it's none of it's got any coldness in it. That is true, but my quote only freezer that's big enough to put the trays in is my refrigerator freezer. And right now it's full of ice waiting for me to process all the birds I got to process before Saturday. That's cool, Ed. I think we're going to call it a night because I have to make a call that you can't refuse, and I've got to get some birds ready for processing. So everybody have a blessed day, and Katrina gets up on the stand Saturday morning. So have all your questions ready for Katrina. You have a blessed night.